Looks pretty bloody ugly, doesn't it? That there. Used to be a lot worse. Dupuyten's Contracture. It's a French word, so I struggle to say it. My brother's got the same thing, and as a guitarist, he's really worried about it, because you can't play guitar when your finger's curled right over like that. This finger here used to be like that. I couldn't straighten it anymore. Today, it's flush with the rest, without any operation. My father, well, his finger's like that, and even after operation, he can't straighten it much more. He calls it trigger finger. How do I fix it? Real simple, by hanging. 2 minutes a day, 6 weeks, and you can still see the scarring where it's gone all through, but without having any surgery, I've fixed it. I've got this tree here, this old oak tree. I've got a perfect branch to do pull-ups from. I pump out a few of those until I'm feeling a bit stuffed. I can do about 8 now. For the sake of the video, I'll just do 3 so I can talk to you, because I can't do it. And I hang for about 2 minutes. Sometimes I'll hang from just one arm, like this. That's my sore one, or the one that's got the disease. And then I'll switch over to the left hand and have a break, and shake it out, keep on hanging. I don't swing around too much, I try to keep reasonably still. It's a dead hang, although it is fun to swing around a bit more. Like, you know, we like to have a bit of a swing, don't we? Woohoo! But the bottom line is, it fixed it. It fixed it. There are so many things that we can fix with our health, brothers, and the occasional sister joining us down the Broadsheet Club. There's so many things we can fix without procedures, without medication, just by using nature. So the old oak tree has fixed this for me. It looks pretty gnarly, but it's okay because it's straight. Like, that finger used to be like that, as I said, so it's straight. And I'll be able to keep on playing guitar for a bit longer. And I just wanted to make this simple video because we are educated, we grow up, being taught that when you're sick you go to the doctor and he might fix you. I've lost a lot of faith in the medical profession. Oh, I wouldn't be without it. Got an acute problem, I want to go and see the doctor. I've got an acute problem, I want to get it fixed. But for chronic problems like this here, it's about removing the causation. And I've removed the causation, and what it's done is it's stretched all the tissue. It's let nature kick in and do what nature does best with us, and that's heal. We heal. Life is always throwing curveballs at us, isn't it? You just get over one thing and you go on back into it again, and suddenly you find out you've got something else. And I know all about that. Man, I have my share, more than my share, of things being thrown at me. But I'm a survivalist, and that's why I always take responsibility for whatever shit goes down with me. Whether it's my teeth, whether it's my internal organs, or whether it's a physical thing like a hand, I take charge of it. I don't just hand it over to somebody else. Ultimately, I take responsibility for my life in every aspect I can. And I use everything available to me. Every professional person I can talk to, every physician, every surgeons, they're great to talk to because they cut people open, they look inside. Every medical journal I can find. And the interweb is filled with so much bullshit and so confusing out there. And I always come back to one thing, and that's the long-term studies over a long period of time with large cohorts and really firm, hard endpoints that give proof. Not these new things that have just been out the last 10 or 15 years, but things that have been going 50 or 60 or 100 years. And there are things around like that. The meta-analysis is there. The Dunedin study, I believe, has been going on for over 80 years. It's still going. Now there's a study worth looking at. What about the China study? I think it's one of the biggest studies ever done on nutrition. Who was that done by? I actually haven't read it. Is it Colin T. Campbell? I've read bits of it. Colin T. Campbell. Really, really good. So if you've got something right now that you're struggling with, then the majority of people that get well, whatever their disease process is, and I'm talking about psychological diseases, physical diseases, emotional diseases, spiritual, they're all people have one thing in common, is they all take responsibility for it. People that get cancer have higher outcomes of surviving when they take responsibility. I'm not saying you do everything yourself, I'm saying utilising what you've got. There's an old saying that goes, God helps those who help themselves. So basically, brothers, help yourself. Go forth and really explore everything you can to find out what it is. Now, there are such things, and I've got a family member that's been in hospital for their whole entire life. And there are such things that come along that knock us so hard we're never going to get back up. And that's a hard one for me to even contemplate. Yeah, I got a family member that's been in hospital. Well, not in hospital now in care. Older than me, but the whole life been institutionalised through unwell-being. And that there's something which you will know somebody too that's been either wheelchair bound, which is a hard sentence, but it's not a life sentence. Jared Pierce, one of my biggest supporters, who supports me, he made this shirt. Jared made this, sent it to me. It just comes to mind. He's in a wheelchair, and he's not letting being in a wheelchair at all stop him from being who he is. But then some other people can be in a wheelchair and it can be just they can't get out of it. And then there's those of you that are living with chronic pain. I identify, know what it's like, that struggle just to get sleep at night. But we can all find ways if we keep on searching and being proactive. And it's all very well for people to say you've got to remain positive, but it's very hard to remain positive if you're suffering depression, if you're suffering anxiety, if you're suffering debilitating pain, if you are limited by your breathing, or if you're limited by your heart, or if you're limited by being mobile, or your sight, or your hearing, or your speech, or just your whole body, or maybe mentally you're being limited by you might have a dark depression that just keeps you low all the time, so you can't motivate. It's really difficult. And when people have told me to be positive when I've been really sick, particularly when I was a few years back, I was in a wheelchair. I was pretty much bloody crook, and people tell me be positive, and I think to myself, people say this to us not because they really want us to be positive. It's because they want us to be well. They don't want to see us suffering. They care about us. They love us. And they're saying, you've got to be positive. They want to see a good outcome for us because they care about us. But it's extremely hard to be positive when you're in your pain levels are an 8 or a 9 or a 10. I had a really good friend, Ross. He was a knife maker. Loved the man. He came around regularly and see me, and I'd go and see him at Jack Ingles in his little room there. And he came out here, he made knives, and he was a lovely bloke. And some days he'd tell me his pain was a 10. And right to the very end, I never ever told him to be positive. The only thing I ever told him to do was to change his diet. Stop eating bloody chocolate fish and start eating some whole foods. But I never told him to be positive because I knew how much he was struggling. And he had a pretty a hard time towards the end. I don't think all of us have to have a hard time at the end of our lives. Many of us do, but I don't think all of us have to. And I would never ever preach, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube right now about anti-aging and prolonged life and living a long time. I don't think living a long life is a great thing, because sometimes living a long life, the last 20 years of it, you could be in hideous pain and struggling. I think living a life full of quality and good health and being vibrant and being able to be with the people you love, interact with the people you love. And when I say interact with the people you love, I'm talking about imagining for myself, if I survive another 20 years, which I hope I do, even though many of the odds have been stacked against me, it's not just surviving another 20 years, it's like being 80 and being able to go to Europe and carry my guitar in my hand, the weight of my guitar in a small bag, or to pick up my grandchild and give him or her a hug, and physically be able to keep on doing the things, just the normal day-to-day things, to shower myself, to wash myself. We don't think about it when we're like in our 50s or even the early 60s, but there comes a time when a lot of us aren't strong enough, and I think this is really so important for us to physically maintain ourselves, particularly our legs. A simple thing like standing up, just a seat here, going like this and sitting down in a chair. I'm very, very weak with the legs. My legs look like threads hanging off me shorts. They're so skinny. I'm a lightweight. I didn't used to be this skinny, but life's done this to me. But I always was a light bone person. But now I'm really light, and I'm aware that my muscle and my legs is something I've got to work on. So I do a few squats every day, just 20 in the morning and 20 at night, and I do a few exercises and stretches, and I get out my mountain bike and I exercise my legs, because I'm aware that this is the biggest muscle in my body, and I want to be able to get up in the next 20 years. I want to be able to get up. I don't want to be one of these guys that's and I also want to be flexible. I want to be able to keep my mobility. So I also practice stretching. So not only do I stand, but I want to be able to squat, go into a full squat like this without any impingement and struggle. So I've got the full rate motion, the range of I've been able to do this and all the way up, so I can easily do that, because as we get older, our tendons and our tendons shrink and our muscles also shrink, and to keep that all going, it's really, really important. So I'm going to round this video up by it's talking about just you can fix things with yourself that you're probably not aware of. This one here was just by absolute coincidence. I discovered it. I've actually got on both hands. This is not so bad. You can see it's minor. This is with a bad hand. You can see it there. But I was doing some research on grip strength, and I wanted to find out how long I could hang for. So I went out and hung from the tree. And I did 2.5 minutes before I started to really, I had to let go. And I thought I could probably increase that one day. So I'll start doing some hanging each day. And I couldn't even do like a pull-up. I was so weak. I used to be able to pump out 20 when I was like a kid. 20 that way, 20 that way, and then I'd take a break. I think the most I ever did was actually 60 was it that way? I can't remember. I think I did 60 once with a bet with a kid when I was about 16 or 17, because I was super strong, and I went up to do one. I was like, oh fuck, and I'm really shaking, trying to get my chin up, couldn't even get up. I thought, I've lost so much strength. So I started doing just half ones with my feet on the ground and pushing, and finally got one. And the other day I broke my record. I got to 8. And I was like, holy shit, I've only done that in like 3 months. Maybe by a year I could possibly do 20 again in a row. Who knows what I could achieve? It's like, so not too late, so long as I don't have an injury. So I'm taking it easy. So in doing that, I started to notice this thing's not hurting anymore. I used to wake up every morning, it was hurting. It doesn't hurt anymore. I wake up every morning and think, the pain. It doesn't hurt. It's actually cured it. Which has got me thinking about how many other things maybe I could do that I could fix with exercises. So I'm starting to do different exercises and try different things I've never done before, because I've never done stretching like hanging. And I would say to you, try and do things you've never physically done before. Right now I'm doing these other stretches. They're kind of, they're a funny one. They're where I sort of do a scissor stretch with my leg bent and my other leg behind out the back like that there. This knee bend, and that one stays straight, and this one bends, and I go right down, this one stays straight, cross over. I'm seeing if that there's going to help me with my sciatic pain. Might not. It might. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Anyway, brothers and the occasional sister, just a very quick one today about us taking care of us, men taking care of men. Let me know what you want to hear on the Broadcheck Club. It's a vlog channel, it's a talking channel. It's not an action channel. That's my other one, which I haven't posted for, God knows, since October now. I'm not going to post anything until I've got something that's post-worthy, until it's something really worth looking at, that's of really, great entertainment, but also something that's a challenge and difficult to do, and it's more spectacular than me just sitting in a chair yakking to you, if that makes any sense at all. Go steady. Check on a brother if you know a brother that's struggling. If you know anybody who's got this condition, send them the video. They'll thank you for it, man. They'll thank you for it. No medication, no doctors, no costs. Just hanging around for a bit and you fix it up. Okay. See you later.